So you're curious about what the first year of Babywise will look like. Maybe you are all in on Babywise and you just want to know, like, what do you have to look forward to? Maybe you're considering Babywise and want to know what that would mean if you took the plunge. Maybe you're just a curious person. But whatever the reason, let's talk about what to expect in a big picture snapshot overview of what will happen in the first year when you use On Becoming Babywise. Before we get into it, hello, my name is Valerie. I am the Babywise Mom. I blog at babywisemom.com. I have 4 children who currently range in age from 9 to 16 years old. Throughout this video, I will talk about ages when you can expect things to happen. The age I give will be the youngest that you realistically could expect it. There's always a range. So if something is, hey, this could happen at 7 weeks old, that could be a range of up to 12 weeks old also. So just because the youngest possible age is 7 weeks doesn't mean that every baby will hit it at 7 weeks. Babies change a lot. From a newborn to a 1-year-old is a huge change. So a lot happens in 1 year. And probably nothing happens faster than the newborn months. Let's start there and talk about what to expect. If you are doing Babywise, your first 2 weeks home, the book tells you just relax, don't worry about the schedule, just get to know baby, work on getting baby eating and understanding your baby and getting those full feedings in. Don't stress about the clock, don't stress about the schedule. So the first 2 weeks, you're just focused on getting to know baby. But that doesn't mean you can't get started. Obviously, when I had my 2nd, 3rd, 4th baby, having this routine situation was very much just a part of how I parented. So it wasn't like I ignored that with my 2nd, 3rd, and 4th babies. I went right into a routine with those. So just because the book says don't focus on it doesn't mean you can't. The point is you don't need to stress about it in the first 2 weeks. You have enough to worry about. You're trying to recover from birth. You don't need to worry about it. That doesn't mean you can't. You might want to start on routine if that's an easier word for you than schedule, or you might even jump right into a schedule. No matter what you do, something you do have to focus on is making sure your baby gets enough feedings in the day, even in that first 2 weeks. So you want baby to get anywhere from 8 typically to 10 feedings in a 24-hour period. Those feedings will happen 2 to 3 hours apart during the day, most 2.5 to 3 hours apart. You'll probably have 6 to 8 naps during your day, and your baby can go up to 5 hours at night without eating. That doesn't mean all babies will go 5 hours for sure. It just means you can allow your baby to go up to 5 hours at night. Also, there's a thing called cluster feeding. I have a video on it. I have a blog post on it. That's a great way to help baby get more feedings in the evening. A lot of times babies need to eat more often in those evening hours. Cluster feeding is feeding every 2 hours. Around 3 to 4 weeks old, your baby is going to have the first growth spurt. And these happen frequently. So I have a blog post, I have a video all about growth spurts, so be sure to check those out if you need to learn more about growth spurts. Starting at 5 weeks, it's possible to do a 2.5 to 3.5 hour interval between every feeding. But again, that doesn't mean every 5-week-old is ready to go that long. It just means maybe at 5 weeks your baby will be. A lot of babies aren't ready until 8 weeks or older. 5 weeks old is a great time to start some simple, basic independent play. I do have information on independent play with newborns on my blog, so check that out if you're interested in that. By 6 weeks old, it is now okay to let your baby go 7 to 8 hours at night without eating. Before that point, you wanted to wake them up 5 hours. Now you're able to go 7 to 8. 7 weeks old is when a lot of babies who do Babywise will start sleeping 7 to 8 hours uninterrupted. That will mean they go from the dream feed all the way to your morning feed without waking up. At 8 weeks old, you can move to 6 feedings in a 24-hour period if your baby is ready for it. Also, a great thing to look forward to at 8 weeks old is babies are typically much easier to keep awake starting around this age. So that means during feeding time, your baby isn't so sleepy and you're not fighting to keep your baby awake the whole time you're feeding baby. Starting at 9 weeks old, you want to start watching for signs your baby might be able to drop the dream feed. The dream feed is that feeding that happens between 10 and 11 p.m. Not all babies are going to be ready to drop at 9 weeks, and actually most won't be ready, but some are. So it's a good age to start watching for signs. I do have a blog post and a video all about that. Also at 9 weeks, your baby might be able to go 9 to 10 hours between feedings at night. Another thing at this age is it's very common for babies to wake in the 5 to 6 a.m. hour and talk to themselves. If you leave baby, then baby will go back to sleep. So don't rush in there if you hear baby in that hour. Wait and see if baby will go back to sleep first. By 12 weeks old, most Babywise babies are sleeping at least 7 to 8 solid hours at night by this age. If it's not happening by this age, I would recommend doing some troubleshooting to see why this is happening. By 12 weeks, your baby might be ready for a 3 to 4 hour schedule in the day. If you think your baby might be ready, check out my blog post or video on the 4-hour schedule. And by 13 weeks old, the end of the newborn period, your baby might be ready for 5 to 7 feedings in a 24-hour period. Next up is the 4 to 6 month old range. At 4 months old, most babies drop the 4th nap and go to 3 naps a day. And during this time period, your baby is probably sleeping 10 to 12 hours at night without waking up. Your baby also probably has 4 to 6 feedings in the 4 to 6 month old range. One thing to note is 4 months old is a very common time for major sleep issues. So if you have a 4 month old who's having a hard time sleeping, be sure to check out my blog post and or my video on Wonder Week 19. During this age range, it's a good time to start blanket time with your baby, and 5 months old is a great time to start sign language with your baby. It's common at 5 months old for a baby to start having sleep issues because of teething pain, so watch for that. In this range, your baby might be ready to start solids. Be sure to consult your baby's doctor. Other babies aren't ready till 6 months or older. Once you do start solids, make sure you do not start feeding every 2 hours. Your baby has been eating every 3 to 4 hours basically since birth, and at least before starting solids. So don't start feeding a liquid and then 2 hours later feeding a solid and 2 hours later feeding a liquid. You want to feed liquid and solid, wait 4 hours, liquid and solid, wait 4 hours. We are still sticking to a 4-hour feeding schedule even once we start solids. Next up is the 6 to 9 month old age range. If you haven't started solids yet, this is the age range when you will do it. Starting at 6 months old, your baby might be ready for 2 naps a day. The average for this is 8 months old, but it can start to happen at 6 months old. Your baby will probably have 4 to 5 feedings in a day, with up to 3 solid feedings in conjunction with 3 of those liquid feedings. Naps should be 1.5 to 2.5 hours long. If your baby has 3 naps a day, that 3rd nap could be 30 to 45 minutes, and that would be normal. During this age range, your baby will start testing boundaries, and it's okay to tell your baby no. So if your baby starts testing, it's okay to have some, that's a no. We don't do that. I do have a blog post all about this for babies, so be sure to see that on disciplining babies. Remember, discipline just means correcting. It means getting back on track. It doesn't have to mean punishment or anything like that. It's just correcting. During this age range, independent playtime should be 15 to 30 minutes long, and that can be once or twice a day. Most babies are ready to start finger foods around 7 to 8 months old, and by 8 months old, your baby's ready for independent playtime to be 30 to 45 minutes long, also once or twice a day. We're already to the last section of the year, looking at 9 to 12 months old. During this age range, your baby should have 2 naps a day, not 1 nap. Don't move to 1 nap a day yet. Your baby should be a toddler when moving to 1 nap, not a baby. You'll definitely need to do some correcting of your baby more in this age, and I promise that if you do, you will have easier toddler months ahead. Some people during this age range move to 3 liquid feedings a day and do those in conjunction with solid feedings. Others keep 4 liquid feedings a day. 3 of those have solids with them and 1 is just liquid. Personally, I did 4 liquid feedings a day until my babies were at least a year old. You might also have a snack time during the day, so you'd have 3 to 4 liquid feedings, 3 solid feedings at the same time as a liquid, and then you could have a snack. So that could come in conjunction with your 4th liquid feeding, or you could have a snack at another point in the day if you feel like there's a time when there needs to be a snack. By this age, your baby should be at just 2 naps a day. So if you still have 3, start to work on dropping down to 2. Also, independent playtime should be at 60 minutes. This is typically just once a day, but you could break it up into 2 30-minute increments in the day. If you need to know more about independent playtime, I have a blog post and a video all about it, so be sure to check those out. So that's a really fast overview of the whole first year. You can see how quickly your baby moves to sleeping 7 to 8 hours at night, and then on to 9 to 10 hours, and then 10 to 12 hours. Your baby's taking solid naps, your baby's getting consistent feedings in the day, and your days are really predictable. So you can see the great appeal of using Babywise for your baby. If you want a printable cheat sheet, I have one for you. Be sure to check out my blog post that is in conjunction with this video, and you can sign up for my email list and get a free cheat sheet as well as a free email series on how to be successful with Babywise. Thanks for watching and have a great day.